My friend, you speak to me today of a ghost, a phantom thief that steals the joy from the present and casts a long, dark shadow over the promise of tomorrow. You speak of anxiety, the habit of prepaying interest on a debt you may never owe. You are wrestling with shadows born of your own magnificent but currently misdirected imagination. This is one of the most common and most tragic of human afflictions, for it forces a man to suffer 1,000 imagined defeats before a single real battle has ever been fought. It is a poison that you, in a state of unconsciousness, are feeding to yourself drop by agonizing drop. But I am here to tell you, with the absolute certainty born of observing thousands of lives, that you hold the antidote in your own hands. The power that creates these phantoms is the very same power that can banish them forever and build a brilliant reality in their place. Have you ever paused to consider who is the architect of this ghostly theater where you are both the actor and the terrified audience? The architect, my friend, is you. And as the architect, you can at any moment tear down the old terrifying blueprints and draw new ones for a mansion of peace and achievement. Your mind, you see, is a magnificent and fertile garden. By the immutable law of nature, it must produce a harvest from the seeds you plant within it. Anxiety is the act of meticulously, if unconsciously, planting the seeds of fear, doubt, and negative expectation. You water these seeds with your attention, you fertilize them with worry, and then you are startled and dismayed to find a crop of thorny, bitter fruit. You taste this fruit and you say, "Life is frightening, the future is a threat. But I say to you, the soil of your mind is not cursed, it is divinely potent. The problem is not with the garden, but with the gardener." For just as you have planted these weeds of worry, so too can you begin today, at this very moment, to systematically uproot them and plant in their place the glorious seeds of faith, purpose, and a definite plan. You are living today in the world you created with your thoughts of yesterday. If you wish to live in a world of serenity and success tomorrow, you must begin to command your thoughts today. This anxiety you feel is not a monolithic beast. It is a pack of ghosts, and these ghosts have names. I have studied them my entire life, and I have categorized them. They are the 6 basic fears that haunt the subconscious mind of humanity: the fear of poverty, the fear of criticism, the fear of ill health, the fear of loss of love, the fear of old age, and the fear of death. Your anxiety about things that haven't happened is almost certainly a manifestation of one or more of these 6 fears projected onto the screen of the future. When you worry about losing your job, it is the fear of poverty. When you hesitate to share a bold new idea, it is the fear of criticism. When you fret about a minor ache or pain, it is the fear of ill health. These fears are nothing more than states of mind. And a state of mind is the one thing over which you have been given absolute godlike control. If you fail to control your own mind, you may be sure you will control nothing else. The starting point of all freedom from anxiety is the recognition that the thing you fear is not an external reality, but an internal, controllable vibration of thought. So how does one launch a campaign to conquer these phantoms and put an end to this advance payment on sorrow? The answer is as simple as it is profound. You cannot fight a shadow with your fists. You cannot argue a ghost into oblivion. You defeat darkness by filling the room with light. You banish ghosts by occupying their haunting grounds with a presence so vital, so powerful, and so real that their ethereal forms simply dissolve. The great blazing sun-like presence that will consume every phantom of anxiety in the furnace of its brilliance is a definite major purpose. I cannot overstate the importance of this principle. It is the master key that unlocks every door of personal achievement and bolts shut every door to fear and worry. A mind without a definite purpose is like a ship without a rudder, tossed about by every wave of circumstance and every gust of opinion. It is an open house where any stray thought, any whisper of doubt, any headline of gloom can enter and take up residence. This is the mind that suffers from anxiety. It has no direction of its own, and so it is at the mercy of every external suggestion. But a mind that is possessed by a definite major purpose is a different entity altogether. It is a guided missile streaking towards a predetermined target. It is a powerful locomotive on a fixed track, hurtling toward a known destination. Its energy is focused. Its resources are mobilized. Its mental landscape is fully occupied by the blueprints of its own grand design. The worries of what if are drowned out by the roar of the engine of what I will. A definite major purpose is the supreme antidote to anxiety for a very practical reason. It gives your mind a job to do, A mind engaged in a constructive, creative, all-consuming task simply has no time for the idle, destructive hobby of worrying. Worry is the rust that corrodes the blade of an unused sword. The sword that is constantly in use, cleaving a path towards a worthy goal, remains bright and sharp. The secret to stopping worry is not to just try not to worry, but to start doing something so significant that worry becomes an unaffordable luxury. Have you such a purpose? Is there a burning, all-consuming obsession that leaps into your mind the moment you awaken and that fuels your dreams as you sleep? If not, then this is your first, most urgent order of business. This is your primary weapon in the war against anxiety. Take out a pen and paper, not tomorrow, not when you feel better, but now. Write down a clear and concise description of the one great thing you desire to achieve more than anything else. Be specific. If it is money, state the exact amount. If it is a position, describe it in minute detail. Attach to this desire a definite date for its attainment, and then describe what of value you intend to give in return for its achievement. This is not a wishing game. This is a contract with your subconscious mind and with the universe. You are declaring your intent, you are setting a deadline, and you are specifying the service you will render. This act alone, the translation of a vague, anxious hope into a concrete written statement of purpose, is an act of immense power. It is the first step in moving from the camp of the worried to the camp of the warriors. Once this definite purpose is established, it becomes your North Star. But a star is of no use if it is obscured by clouds. The clouds are your doubts and fears. To burn away these clouds, you must generate the intense heat of faith. Faith is not a blind hope. It is a state of mind that can be and must be cultivated. Faith is a deep and abiding conviction that you will achieve your purpose. It is the absence of doubt. Worry is a form of negative faith. It is the unwavering belief that things will go wrong. You have already proven you are an expert at faith. You have simply been placing your faith in the wrong outcome. You must now deliberately and systematically transfer that faith from the negative to the "I must not fail to do this because I stake my entire future upon this idea." What you fear you might fail to do can instead become the very foundation upon which you can build your success. The primary method for developing this positive, constructive faith is autosuggestion. This is the principle of communication between your conscious mind, where thought arises, and your subconscious mind, which acts upon those thoughts. Your anxiety is the result of years of unconscious negative autosuggestion fed to you by your environment and by your own unguarded thoughts. You will now seize control of this process. Your written statement of your definite purpose is your new script. Read it aloud twice daily, once upon rising and once before sleeping. As you read it, it is not enough to merely speak the words. You must infuse them with emotion. You must use your magnificent power of imagination. Close your eyes and see yourself as if you have already achieved your goal. Feel the confidence. Experience the pride. Enjoy the fruits of your success. By doing this, you are sending a powerful, emotionally charged command to your subconscious mind. You are instructing it to accept your purpose as a present reality and to begin working immediately to manifest that reality in your outer world. Each time you perform this ritual, you are replacing a brick of anxiety with a brick of faith in the walls of your mental fortress. You are consciously programming yourself for success, overriding the unconscious programming for failure that causes your anxiety. Now we move from the inner world of thought and belief to the outer world of physical action, for a purpose without action is but a hallucination. A frequent cause of anxiety is the feeling of being powerless and out of control. Action is the direct and immediate antidote to this feeling. A definite purpose must be supported by a definite plan. Sit down with your piece of paper and begin to outline the steps you will need to take to achieve your purpose. What skills will you need to acquire? Who will you need to enlist for cooperation? What will be your first step, your second, your third? The very act of planning is a powerful countermeasure to anxiety. Worry deals in vague, terrifying generalities. What if everything goes wrong? A definite plan deals in concrete, manageable specifics. Today I will make these 5 phone calls, or this week I will read this book. You transform a monstrous, shadowy beast of a problem into a series of small, well-lit, and conquerable hills. You replace the paralysis of, "I don't know what to do," with the power of, "Here is the next step." And this brings us to a crucial point. If you wait until your plan is perfect, you will wait forever, and your anxiety will be your constant companion. The habit of decision is vital. You must create your plan with the best information you have, and then you must begin at once whether you feel ready or not. The world does not step aside for those who are perfectly prepared. It steps aside for those who are in motion. Start where you stand and work with whatever tools you may have at your command, and better tools will be found as you go along. The moment you take that first physical step, you send a signal to the universe and to your own mind that you are serious. That action creates momentum, and momentum is the mortal enemy of anxiety. You cannot worry effectively while you are busily and productively engaged in the execution of a definite plan. Your mental and physical energy is occupied with construction, leaving none left over for the destructive luxury of worrying about things that haven't happened yet. Action is the solvent that dissolves the bonds of fear. As you proceed with your plan, you will undoubtedly encounter obstacles. Life will present you with real problems, not just the imagined ones that have been tormenting you. This is where you must summon the quality of unconquerable persistence. This is where the person conditioned by anxiety breaks, and the person conditioned by purpose thrives. The anxious mind sees a setback as proof that their worst fears were justified. It says, "See, I knew it would be too hard. I knew I would fail." And it retreats back into the familiar, miserable comfort of worry and inaction. The purpose-driven mind sees a temporary defeat for what it is, feedback. It is a signal from the universe that the current plan needs adjustment. It is a lesson to be learned, a new piece of information to be incorporated. The great Henry Ford, a man I studied closely, failed and went broke 5 times before he finally succeeded. A lesser man, a man plagued by anxiety, would have quit after the first failure and spent the rest of his life saying, "I tried once and it didn't work out." Ford's mind was not on failure. It was on his definite major purpose of creating a motor car for the masses. The defeats were merely detours, not dead ends. You must adopt this standard. There is no failure, only temporary defeat. Every adversity carries with it the seed of an equivalent or greater benefit. Your job is to analyze the defeat, find the seed, and plant it in the soil of your new, improved plan. This resilience, born of persistence, makes you impervious to the anxieties that would cripple an ordinary person. Let me also address the loneliness that so often accompanies anxiety. The anxious mind often feels isolated, as if it is fighting its battles all alone. This is another illusion you must dispel. You must deliberately surround yourself with a powerful, positive force, an alliance that will bolster your faith and support your purpose. This is the principle of the mastermind. A mastermind consists of 2 or more people working in perfect harmony for the attainment of a definite purpose. Identify 1 or 2 individuals in your life who are positive, who are supportive, and who believe in you and your potential. Form a definite alliance with them. Meet with them regularly. In your meetings, you do not gather to complain or to share your anxieties. That would only create a worry club that magnifies fear. Your alliance is a council of war. You share your definite major purpose. You discuss your plans. You brainstorm solutions to obstacles. You hold each other accountable for taking action. The combined faith and willpower of your mastermind group create a psychic fortress around you. When your personal faith wavers, the faith of your allies sustains you. The fear and negativity of the outside world cannot penetrate this harmonious shield. You are no longer a lone soldier shivering in the dark. You are part of an invincible phalanx marching forward in the light of your shared purpose. Finally, you must learn to become the absolute master of your emotional state. Anxiety is an emotion. It is a form of energy. Right now, it is an energy that is working against you, causing mental anguish and physical distress. You must learn the art of emotional transmutation. You must learn to seize this energy of fear and transmute it into a constructive force. The moment you feel the cold hand of anxiety upon your shoulder, you must recognize it. And in that moment of recognition, you have a choice. You can surrender to it, letting it drag you down into its dark vortex, or you can say, "Ah, here is energy." The energy I was about to waste on worrying about an imaginary future, I will now invest in the present moment. Immediately, consciously pivot your mind. Focus with all your might on your definite major purpose. Open your notebook and work on your plan. Take one small, immediate physical action toward your goal. Pick up the phone. Write the email. Read the chapter. You must learn to use the feeling of anxiety as a trigger, as an alarm bell that signals it is time for immediate, purposeful action. If you practice this, you will perform an incredible act of mental alchemy. You will turn the lead of fear into the gold of achievement. The energy that once poisoned you will now become your fuel. You will rob your anxiety of its very power source. So, do you see, my friend? The cure for anxiety is not found in a pill or in a wish. It is an active, dynamic, and profoundly empowering process. It is a system for re-engineering your own mind. You starve the phantoms of fear by feeding your purpose. You build immunity to doubt by cultivating a powerful faith. You replace the paralysis of worry with the momentum of decisive action and persistence. You surround yourself with allies who reflect your strength, not your weakness. And you learn to transform the very energy of your fear into the fuel for your success. You came to me asking how to stop being anxious about things that haven't happened. And the answer is to become so intensely, passionately, and purposefully engaged in creating the things you want to have happen that your mind has no room left for anything else. The future you fear is a work of fiction that you are writing with the pen of anxiety. I am asking you to put down that pen. Pick up the architect's tools of purpose, planning, and action, and begin today to build the magnificent, real, and joyful future you desire and deserve. The power is not out there in the swirling mists of tomorrow. It is in your mind, in this moment now. What will you build with it?